Hey, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today we're looking at some of the most popular harmonica pedals. I'm going to demo some really great pedals and also give you the chance to win every single pedal that you're going to see in this video. That's over $1,000 worth of gear. There's a link in the description to find out how to enter that competition. So this isn't going to be a review of specific demos as such, but I'm going to give you an overview of the most popular categories of pedal, and I'm going to show you some of my favourite pedals, and you'll also have a chance to win them. For all the demos in this video, I'm going to be using a Harp Gear HG2 amp and a Greg Human Blows Me Away microphone. I'll be using a B-flat diatonic harmonica as well. I will give you a demo of the clean sound before each pedal so you can compare. Okay, so the first category we're going to look at is tone. So the idea of these pedals is that they are going to change the actual kind of timbre of what you're playing so that you're getting more crunch, more bite, more dirt. That's usually the thing we're looking for. Now, obviously I'm already going through my amp and its sound on its own is not entirely clean, but we can still dirty that up. And these pedals are also useful if you're going through a clean PA or an amp that just isn't getting any of the grit that you want to hear. So, the sound without any pedal is going to be like this. Now I think that's pretty nice. That's just my amp and the mic. But let's see what happens if we start adding a pedal. So the first pedal we're going to look at is the Boogeyman, the Lone Wolf Boogeyman. Now this is lots of things in one. It's also a delay pedal. We're going to look at that later in this video. But the section of this pedal we want to look at is the tone section, the break section. So this allows you to get a kind of gritty sound. It also allows you to kind of EQ your sound. So you've got treble and bass and volume. So let's try a few different settings on it and see what we get. Okay, so the top line of the knobs on this pedal is what we're looking at the moment. So we've got volume, drive, treble and bass. So if we play with everything at 12 o'clock, everything kind of dead center, this is the sound we get. Let's take the drive down to about 9 o'clock just to see what sound we're getting, see what it's doing for us. And then let's crank that drive right up. Let's go to about 3 p.m. So we're really cranking it. So you can hear that as that goes up, there is that overdriven sound. It sounds like the tubes are really working. Now, I am using a tube amp, but if you aren't using a tube amp, if you're playing through something solid state or if you're going straight into a PA, then this is going to give you that drive sound which you wouldn't get at all. That's really sounds like the amp is really cooking, whereas I've just turned it on. It's not a big amp, but that makes it really sound massive. The other controls that we've got on this top line are our volume and our treble and bass. So the volume might be useful if you want to take a solo and you want to be able to hit this pedal and know you've got that extra volume to help you out. I'm not going to turn that up and down, you know what louder and quieter sounds like. But you've also got this control treble and bass. So this is the opportunity to give your own EQ to the sound. So I've got them at 12 o'clock, but let's take our drive back to 12 o'clock and maybe we'll turn the treble down and the bass up. So we'll take the bass up to 3 o'clock, treble down to 9 o'clock, just to see what we get. If I hit the lower note, And then if we switch that round, so we'll pump the treble up and the bass down, let's see what we get with that. So you can hear the different frequencies starting to come through. Now that's a matter of taste for yourself, but I think the options you've got with this pedal, in terms of tone, in terms of that drive especially, are really great. The next tone pedal I want to show you is the Little W Harmonica Boost, which is made by Pedal Tree. This is a sweet little pedal that's about the size of a harmonica, and you simply turn it off and on. So there's very little to go wrong. You've just got volume, and then you have got the option of switching one little control depending on whether your microphone is high, medium or low impedance. I'm going to keep it on high for my bullet mic, but this pedal is intended to help you regardless of the microphone you're using or if you're going straight into a PA. So again, my clean sound. And then with the pedal. Without the pedal again. With. There's definitely a warmth that it's giving me. It's got that feel of the tubes really cooking, beautiful, sweet kind of sound. And with this, it's simply turn it off and on. That's the tone that you've got. So the third and final tone pedal that I want to demo for you is the Harp Mojo. Now this is one that was sent to me by a guy, I think he's in Italy, to try out and give him a bit of feedback. I think the idea for this one is that it helps you EQ whatever amp you are going through. So whether you're going through the PA or an amp that really isn't suitable for harmonica, basically it allows you to play with the bass and the treble mix that you've got. So remember that bass and treble we had with the Boogeyman. This is kind of, I think, doing a similar thing. They are called fatness and bite on the pedal. So fatness gives you those bottom end notes or frequencies, and the bite gives you more of the higher frequencies, and it's just allowing you to mix those. Now it's quite a subtle pedal, I have to say. If I keep the controls quite low, I don't hear much difference in terms of my amp. So I'm putting the fatness and the bite up at about 3 o'clock, and you should be able to hear a little bit of a difference in terms of what you're getting out of the sound. So this is without the pedal. And this is with the pedal. So I think it is giving you a sweeter sound, it's giving you a bit more punch. If I were to turn it down, you wouldn't hear much difference. I think, again, it's intended not necessarily for when you're playing through, as I am, an amp which is built for harmonica, a mic which is intended for harmonica. So I think if I played this through a normal clean PA and then used it, you'd hear, oh, actually, it's going to really help me. But essentially, it's just giving us the EQ that you might not have control of on your amp. Okay, so our next category of pedal is reverb. This is a really popular pedal to use to give your playing more presence. So what reverb does is it sustains your notes, it adds atmosphere to those notes, it helps them to linger. So perhaps you want the sound of a bigger room, or you just want the sound to not stop so dead. That's what reverb is going to do for you. So if I just play without a pedal, then you'll hear that the note stops dead. It's not continuing, it's just dip. It just plays as long as I'm playing it and then goes. Now if we add a pedal to that, we're gonna get this kind of extra sustain to the notes. So I'm going to demo for you the Harp Verb pedal. This is specifically made for harmonica, which I think is useful because sometimes the pedals you get for guitar and the controls you get on guitar amps, they add so much reverb that it can be too much for harmonica. So if we have a look at this pedal, it's quite a small, compact little thing, so not much to get confused about. And we've basically got our blend and our reverb. So if we change the blend, that decides how much the kind of original note is heard as opposed to the sustain of that note. And then the reverb is actually kind of how long the note sustains for. So how long after you've stopped playing will that note kind of keep resonating. So I'm just going to demo for you a few different setups of those two pedals, but bear in mind there are kind of infinite varieties of these, and I'm just going to move both pedals up together, but you could have one high, one low, and see what kind of sound you're getting. But just to give you a very quick idea. So if I play, again, a clean note, stops dead. If I have the Harp Verb on both knobs at 9 o'clock, you can hear that note starting to sustain. It's got some presence. Off again. It's more right in front of you then, isn't it? Okay, so let's move those up to about 12 o'clock. You'll hear that the effect is more pronounced now. So without the pedal, and then with. And then finally, I'm going to really exaggerate things for you by putting both controls up to about 3 o'clock. So this is really pumping the length of that sustain and also how audible it is in the blend. So without the pedal. And then with. So I had to wait then because it was sustaining for so long. Now it's getting quite exaggerated at that point. Again, there were loads of different options for setting those up. I mean, I could sit here and demo all the different combinations and it would take forever because you can, combine them as you wish. But just remember that that reverb is allowing the note to sustain, to give you that sound of different rooms, different kind of ambiences. Like that last setting sounded like a huge room or in a cathedral or something. So really cool, and I like the Harp Verb. It's a really simple pedal, hard to get it wrong, and does what you want it to do. Okay, let's talk delay pedals. Now, delay and reverb are often confused because they're both trying to give you more presence, more of a roomy kind of sound, but they are replicating different things about that roomy sound. So recall that with reverb you've got the sustain, how long that note kind of continues to play after you've finished. Delay is slightly different in that it's actually about repeats. So it's almost replicating that note bouncing back off a wall. So you're going to hear a certain number of repeats, and that repeat will be delayed for a certain amount of time. So you'll actually hear not the note continuing to play, but it being repeated back at you. It's a really cool effect. I use a delay pedal, and it's something that is really common with harmonica players, either as a substitute or an addition to reverb. So we're going to go back to our Boogeyman pedal for this for one more time, because the Boogeyman also includes a delay setting on it. I actually use the same company, Lone Wolf, but one of their delay pedals, a sole delay pedal that just does that, nothing else. But because we're using the Boogeyman today, I'm going to use that. So let's look at the pedal again. And I'm going to ignore that top line. We're not doing any of the break or kind of soloing boost stuff. We're just going to look at this bottom line. So we've got blend, repeats, and delay. So the blend, as we had with the reverb, that controls the kind of mix that you've got of the original note and then the repeated notes in this case. So the volume of what you're going to hear as your own note and then what you'll hear as the repeated notes. You've then got the number of repeats, so as you turn that up you will actually hear more of these notes bouncing back at you. And then the delay is just how much of a delay there is between those notes themselves. And you can get quite a range of notes out of this. So I'm going to show you 3 different settings. The first is what I would call a slapback setting. So we're going to have the blend on 2 o'clock, the repeat on 8 o'clock, and the delay on 4 o'clock. So I'll play something without the pedal first. And then with. And the reason I'd call this a slapback is because if I just play one note, you'll hear it bounce back or slap back at me. Now, obviously, if you were to change the settings just a little bit from what I've already got there, you can make sure that that delay is exactly as you want it. So maybe you don't want a bigger gap, or maybe you don't want it as loud, or you want it louder. It's entirely up to you. But I think one of the cool things about a delay pedal is that it actually gives you a range of different options for what to do. So the next setting, I'm going to call it, well, it's more of kind of an atmospheric, almost like a reverby sound. Now, I don't want to confuse you, but if we use the delay pedal in the right way, because of the setup that we are kind of getting out of it, it gives us more of that atmospheric, almost like a sustained sound. Now, it's still achieving that through repeats of the note, but you'll hear what I mean. So blend, we're doing 3 o'clock, repeats 5 o'clock, and then our delay at 2 o'clock. Okay, so without the pedal, and then with, so that sounds almost like a reverb pedal because the delay is quite long, but it's not so kind of in your face. It's not as kind of smashing back at you. So it almost sounds, although it is achieved through repeats, it almost sounds like a sustain to the notes. So we can actually use our delay pedal to almost imitate a reverb if we want to. And then the final setting I'm going to show you is, I'm calling it more of a kind of a chorus thing, because it's a subtle delay. You're not going to hear it as obviously, and it's quite a quick delay. So it's almost like you're getting a chorus sound, a kind of a bigger, fuller sound, but without it being too obvious. So without the pedal, and with, again, just adding some atmosphere and just making it sound that bit bigger than without. Octave pedals are a really, really cool way of adding to your playing. You might have heard someone like Jason Ritchie using these. They give you the option to double up your notes either in the octave below or in the octave above, or both. I'm going to be using the sub and up pedal. This is a really small, simple pedal that is a really nice introduction to using octave pedals. So we've got 3 controls on it. We've got our dry, which is basically our blend, so the combination of the normal note to the extra octave notes. And then we've got the sub and the up, so basically the octave below and the octave above. And we can combine different combinations of those to get various different sounds. So I'm going to show you 3 different settings, basically just to show you what the lower octave, the higher octave, and then the combination of the 3 sounds like. So I'm going to start by showing you if I add the lower octave. So I'm going to have the sub on 3. I'm going to keep the dry on 12, but I'm going to put the up octave right down. So I'm going to have it on 7 p.m. So let's hear without the pedal. And then with. So it's a massive sound. It's really, really cool. I really love it. I don't actually use one when I'm gigging, but it's something I just love the sound of it. I love hearing it with other people. So what about if we have the octave above? So I'm basically going to switch the 2 octave pedals controls so that we're not getting any of the octave below and we're getting a lot of the octave above. So without. And then with. So you can hear that higher note coming through at the same time as the note I'm playing. Very different from the lower one. And then let's just hear a combination of the 2. So I'm going to take everything to 12 o'clock. So we're getting a kind of equal blend and we're getting both the lower octave and the higher. So without the pedal. And then with. Really nice blend of 3 different octaves. So your natural note, and then below that and above it. And it almost starts to have an organ sound. Now we're going to look at organ pedals in our final section, but we're almost getting towards that. Again, I'm just showing you a few different settings. There are loads of combinations that you can try out, even with just a few different controls, a simple pedal like this. You can play with it and find the controls that work for you. Okay, final category of pedal is a pretty quirky one, but I really love it, the organ pedal. We're going to be looking at a C9 pedal, which gives you the opportunity to sound like loads of different classic organs. So it takes your note and it harmonizes with it. It also changes the tone and it adds clicks and sounds that the organ would naturally make. So it's a really cool thing. I once heard a band with a harmonica player using one of these pedals and I didn't know what was going on. I thought, honestly, this is how stupid I was, I thought there was an organ player that I couldn't see somewhere. I thought, well, where is he? Like, is he round the corner? It was a busy pub. And then I realised it was the harmonica player using a pedal. So it's really cool. Now, let's have a look at the C9 pedal. So we've got lots of different options here. If we run across these controls at the top, we've got our dry and organ volume, so that's kind of like our blend. So what do we want the volume of the normal note as opposed to our organ sound? We've then got mod and click. So mod, it depends on the organ setting that we're setting below with the white knob, but basically it might give you tremolo, vibrato or chorus. And then our click is the kind of click that you got with some classic organs that you would have on that first note. Now, just to not confuse you or bamboozle you, I'm going to keep all of those black knobs at 12 o'clock. Just keep them as they are so there's no confusion. I'm just going to demo for you each of the 9 different organs that you can get with this pedal. So you'll see with that white knob below that you've got 9 different options. So I'm going to demo for you some of these different organ settings. So I'm going to give you 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. But obviously there are 9 different ones, and the different combinations of the top controls as well as the organ you're choosing give you loads of different things to explore. So a clean sound. And then our number 1 pedal, which is the tone wheel. Number 3 is a compact organ. Number 5 is called Lord Purple. Number 7 is Blimp. And number 9 is Telstar. And so on. It's so much fun, this pedal. So that's the organ pedal. Again, you've got loads of different options. I'm just trying to give you a general gist of the kind of sound you'd get. But there are so many options within that pedal that you could take a long time exploring it for yourself. Okay, so that's all the pedals I'm going to show you today. If you want a chance to win all of these pedals worth over $1,000, then check out the link in the description. I'm running a competition. The deadline is soon, so make sure you go and check that out. You can get multiple entries by doing certain things, following links to social media and that kind of thing. But check the link and you'll find out more about how to enter that. I wish you the best of luck. So I hope this has been useful in helping you to understand the most popular types of pedals that harmonica players use and giving you a little idea of what they sound like. Let me know in the comments what your favourite pedals are, what you use them for, and I'd love to continue the conversation about all things harmonica pedals. I'll see you again soon for a harmonica lesson. Until then, enjoy your practice. Cheers.